Hi, this is Don Farber with Vineyard Soft Corporation, and I'd like to welcome you to this training session on the KnowledgeSync solution. The topic for this training session will be the configuration of an event to send out alerts via pager or text message. However, before proceeding with the current training session, we strongly recommend that you have first viewed the overview training session on the configuration of an event's alert messages. Now we're going to continue our work in our ERP or accounting application, and specifically we're going to take a look at an event that identifies and sends out pager or text message alerts about invoices that are overdue for payment. Now before we jump into that event, it's worth making a couple of general comments about paging or text messaging out of the KnowledgeSync system. There are two different methods you can use for sending out alerts via pager or text message. The first of those is to dial out through a modem. Now, whether you are sending out pager messages or text messages when dialing out through a modem, a couple of important notes. Number one, KnowledgeSync supports SMS or short message syntax pager or text messages. And before sending out alerts via pager or text message, it's important that you first identify those wireless service providers that each of your subscribers or alert recipients are using, as you'll need to know what's referred to as the SMS center number, that is the access number for each of those wireless service providers. Now the second method that you can use in KnowledgeSync for sending out alerts via pager or text message is email. And in fact, email is often much easier to use as it doesn't require the use of a modem. Typically, when using email to send out a text message or pager alert, you simply deliver the alert to a person's pager number at their particular wireless service provider, such as AT&T or some other provider. And so, with those two different methods identified, let's take a look at the configuration of the pager or text message itself. I'm going to jump over to the tab called Page. And at the top of this tab, what you'll notice is a list of fields of data that we can put into the outgoing pager or text message. The fields of data that you see here are all displayed for you as a result of the query that is associated with this event. If you find that there are fields of data that you'd like to put into your outgoing pager or text message that are not shown from this list, simply go back into the query associated with this event, add the desired fields to that query, and then they will appear on this list and you'll be able to include them in the outgoing message. Now typically, the pager or text message that is configured is going to be a fairly short message, much shorter, for example, than either the email message or the fax message, or for that matter, even shorter than an instant message that might typically be delivered to a recipient. Also, you'll notice that the pager or text message typically does not make use of the begin repeat or end repeat commands. Those are the commands that allow you to configure an alert message to contain multiple records worth of details in a single alert message. So again, typically, when dealing with pager or text messages, you will not make use of the begin repeat or end repeat functionality. As you can see here, our pager message or text message is a fairly simple one, simply showing the name of the customer and the invoice number that is overdue, the amount of the invoice that is overdue, as well as the due date. Do notice that when we show the invoice balance, we're also specifying the length of that field, 10 digits, and we're having KnowledgeSync automatically format that field as currency. Again, there are a number of field formatting controls for currency fields, for numeric fields, for text fields that you can utilize, and those are detailed in the KnowledgeSync manual. The only other item that you need to be concerned with on the Page tab is down at the bottom, where there is a checkbox that has to do with whether this particular event is also generating one or more crystal reports from back on the Reports tab. Because if an event is generating reports, typically those reports are going to be delivered to people via a couple of different methods, possibly attached to email, possibly FTP to a particular location, server, etc., or even posted up to a website using the webcast delivery method. Well, if you are notifying someone via pager or text message that a particular event has been triggered, and for that matter that one or more corresponding reports are ready, and maybe even providing the URL that provides access to those reports, you might want the pager alert message to wait until those reports have been successfully created and posted to the appropriate location before the pager alert message itself gets sent out. So that's all you need to be aware of regarding the configuration of an event to send out alerts via pager or text message. But let's save and close the work that we've done on this tab to return to our main Event Manager window and make one last comment about sending alerts via pager or text message. If you're going to be using the traditional modem method for sending out pager or text message alerts, it's important that you make sure that in KnowledgeSync, the paging server is enabled to run. The various servers that KnowledgeSync uses, whether it's for sending emails, faxes, pager or text message alerts, etc., are all listed for you within the Administrator module in KnowledgeSync, and it is within the Administrator that you can pick and choose which of those servers are enabled to run. You want to make sure, again, if you're going to be sending out pager or text messages via modem, that the paging server is enabled to run. As long as it is, the alerts that you've configured on the paging tab of an event will be successfully delivered. Of course, if you're going to be using the email approach for sending out alerts to people, whereby those emails are going to be sent to a particular pager or wireless device number, you don't need to have the paging server enabled because KnowledgeSync will actually be delivering those alerts using the email server process. So that wraps up this training session on the configuration of an event to deliver alerts via pager or text message. I'd like to thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to speaking with you in a future KnowledgeSync training session. Thanks very much.